Okay, so apologies for technical issues. I'm sure I'm not the only person who've had these. For those of you who don't know Twilio, let me just give you a few words about us before I get into my demo. Twilio is really designed to virtualize all of the communications infrastructure that you need for WebRTC, but really for any kind of calling, not just WebRTC, but PSTN calling, SIP calling, and text messaging, picture messaging. And we virtualize all of that and make it available to folks to be able to easily access it through web APIs. So you don't need to be a SIP engineer. You don't need to know anything about SIP. You don't need to know anything about telecommunications at all. We just make everything available through REST-based APIs. Whether you're making a simple outbound call, a two-way call, sending a text message, or creating a WebRTC client. And so we have voice calling, a client for WebRTC, and a client SDK for iOS and Android. We have SIP connectivity, and we can send text messages either over long codes, or you can get short codes from us. And you can get numbers from us in a huge variety of different countries. People really do a huge variety of different things with this. And that's what we love about Twilio, that we give you the primitives. You can do anything you want. It's about stitching these kind of capabilities into whatever app or whatever enterprise service you're building, whether that is building a call center, doing communications-enabled business processes, and embedding text messages, and doing process notification through text messages. For example, we have Uber doing that, to do notification that your car is available, and then you can text two-way with your driver. Or things like two-factor authentication, so that when you sign up for a service like Box, they will send you a text message with us, gives you a security code that you can then put into your website to verify that you are who you say you are. So a lot of different use cases. For anyone who's been on my panel so far over the last couple of days, I've mentioned contact center a few times, which for our WebRTC use cases is one of the primary ways in which we've seen people using WebRTC. So for my demo, I wanted to show you a bit about that. And we have folks building their own contact center on top of us. So for folks like Home Depot who wanted to develop a contact center, they just said, okay, well, we're going to spend a month seeing what we can do with the Twilio API and building something. Within a month, they'd built it. Within 90 days, they'd scaled to 1 million minutes of use on their call center built on top of us. Same deal with the other guys you see up here. And then we also have folks like LiveOps who take a more resellable contact center approach, but that is built on top of Twilio. To give you an idea of it, I wanted to show you an example of what you can build. And because we say Twilio is for developers, it's about making the telecommunication stuff go away. You don't have to worry about it. Anyone can develop it. I thought I'd show you something that I've developed. My job title is Director of Product Marketing. You'll notice that says marketing in it, not engineer. I am by no means an engineer at all. But what I've built here is a contact center supervisor dashboard idea. This took a couple of days for me to develop, but I had to remember how you developed anything before I started. Most of the folks in this room could do it a lot quicker. And just to give you an idea, when I call in from my cell phone to the number on my contact center interface, as it calls through, what happens is the call comes, it hits our Twilio interface, our cloud, and Twilio webhooks to my web platform that I set up and says, hey, what do you want to do with this call? And from there on in, I can tie it into my logic, tie it into my business logic, however I want. So what I chose to do is have it refresh in real time, come up in this dashboard, and what it actually does is when the call comes in, it gets a caller ID from Twilio, and then I took that caller ID and looked up against a Salesforce API to get information about customer priority and customer company name, and then took that information from Salesforce and looked up against Crunchbase. So for example, having retrieved the name Twilio from Salesforce, it then retrieved all the information about Twilio from Crunchbase. These are the kinds of things that you can do very, very easily with Twilio just by sort of taking your roadmap destiny into your own hands, building this stuff yourself. And you can really integrate it however you want. And particularly in the contact center use case, what people tend to do is integrate that into their CRM. So you just have one single interface where you can do absolutely everything. And then I'll show you, I have a WebRTC client running in here, Twilio's WebRTC client, and that hooks back into all of our infrastructure. So when I click pick up from browser, this call that I've still got on hold in here is going to come in. I have to do the usual Chrome allow capabilities. And we're now in a call. And you can see here we are in a successful call two-way. So I'd invite you to, anyone who's got their phone out and can read the number, just dial this number up here, 415-528-7767. And what you find is, as each of you dial in, for hopefully some of you are doing it, every single one of those calls hits our platform. Every single one, we webhook to the web, to, in this case, my server that I set up, and say, hey, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to connect it? Do you want to put it on hold? And I've put you all on hold. If you're listening, you'll hear a little welcome message saying about WebRTC. And so I just get a long list of them. So I'll, let's check we've got some audio. I'm going to pick someone random, number ending in 8879. Let's answer you. You're going to get a message saying you're about to be connected as I answer, and if wherever you are, if you say hello. Hello. There you go. All right. So that's a pretty basic example of how you can integrate a WebRTC client and hook it into all of your business intelligence, hook it into all the data sources that you have, and really be able to sort of integrate it so that you have a very contextual experience. What I thought I'd do next, just to finish off, if this is not overly stupid on my part, is to show you a WebRTC client to WebRTC client call. Now, we've got one WebRTC client running in here, and other folks who dialed in, thanks, you can hang up now. So we've got one WebRTC client running in our browser here, but we need another WebRTC client to call in. So what I thought I'd do is code you one right now and just show you what that process looks like. I'm going to caveat in advance that I have never done live coding on stage, so this could be a move that I live to regret, but we will see. So what I'm going to do is take the sample template code that we have on our Twilio Quick Start documentation, and I'm going to start off with that as a base template. So we take our sample code, and really there's very little JavaScript in here. Most of the code that you see here is actually the HTML to give the interface to make a call. What we need is our unique authentication tokens and then an app ID to say, when someone makes a call from this WebRTC client, what do you want me to do with it? So I go into my Twilio account, and I'm going to copy my account SID, which is effectively my username, and then my auth token, which is my password. And if any of you have a photographic memory, you can now get unlimited free Twilio calls forevermore if you've remembered that. OK, my time's up, so I'm going to go super quickly and blame it on the AV issues. So we're going to create a Twilio app. We'll call it WebRTC Expo. We'll save that quickly, go back in. We're going to take the SID from there and paste it in here. And then we're going to save this. And I promise you I'm going to be 2 minutes, and then I'm done. We're going to save this as WebRTC Live. I promise you I've purchased Sublime Text. And then we're going to do one more file. And so this application ID, when we launch a call, is going to say, call out to us and say, what do you want me to do with this call? So we just need to write some quick XML to say exactly what we want to do with it. So we're going to say, you are out of time, get off the stage. And we're going to dial. And we're going to dial to a client, which is a client running in my previous page. And then end the dial. And end the response. Shout out if you see any typos, because I'm going quite quickly. And then I'm going to save this as my twiml.html. I just realized that this actually needs to be .php. And one final step, and then I will be done. We need to update our app with the name of the XML file that we've done. We'll update it. And now, if we go to, in fact, if we just quickly upload this with Git to my remote repo in Amazon, and go to WebRTCLive.php. We have our call. So we have a client here that's ready to go, a client here that's ready to receive. I'll click call. It asks me to allow my identity.
You are out of time. Get off the stage.
It's calling, and it's now calling in to my other client. I can allow that. And in literally like 3 minutes, we've set up a WebRTC client from browser to browser, just with very basic scripting and a few JavaScript. Thank you.